Okay, so here we have another Not So Steady Right Hand Productions video talking about a book. I reviewed August Sander, Seeing, Observing and Thinking just a little while ago, and somebody kind of suggested I make a video to show what this book looks like. It's a pretty small and you know, nice volume, and it gives a good overview of the career of this famous photographer, and I just thought I'd give you an idea of what it actually looks like. So there's a lot of text in the beginning, and then it starts out with the man himself overlooking the Siebengebirge, which is just south of Bonn, which in itself is just south of Cologne. And it's maybe a little odd, but it starts out with the landscapes that Sander did predominantly in the 1930s after the Nazis destroyed the plates for his portrait book, his planned book about the German people. And these are all done in the early 1930s, and you can tell, let's see, they're quite nice, but then again, as I said in my review, I don't think that they hold up to the kind of quality of work that he produced with his portraits. The reproduction of the image is very beautiful. In the video, it looks a little bit more contrasty than it does on paper, and the images are all reproduced so that the prints in the book look like the actual prints which were used to produce the book. You really have to look at the this might become a little bit more obvious later when we see some of the portraits. Also, there are differences in the blacks, and some of the edges of the images are not perfect. But this is rather nice because you really get an idea of what it would have looked like if you actually had one of the original prints in your house. So this is the Neanderthal motorway bridge, and that's because the Neanderthal is actually a valley near Düsseldorf, I think. Alright, so there are these landscapes, and then of course everybody knows August Sander for his portraits, and there's quite a few very beautiful portraits, just a small selection from his large set of portraits. And some of course are very famous, like these young farmers from 1914. Other images are less well known. And as an overview of this photographer's work, this is a very nice book. This is a photo from 1952 actually. This is 1924, and I don't know whether I'll be able to show this with a video, but you can sort of it's out of focus already. Alright. Anyway, so the reproduction of the photographs is very close to what the actual prints look like, if you've ever seen them. There's always a good chance if you go to one of those art fairs in New York that somebody might have an actual original print. They have been reprinted several times by the son and the grandson. Okay, and then at the end there's a lot of portraits, and the one thing that I wanted to show at the end, there's some studies of hands, which was not that uncommon actually to do these kinds of hand studies. Okay, and then at the end there are photographs of trees and plants. They're also from the 1930s, after Sander had given up taking portraits. And so plants, which I find these images rather forgettable, because your opinion might be different. So all in all, it's a great overview of here's some portraits of snails. It's a great overview of the photographer's work, and if you want to have just one book that gives you an idea of the life and work of a great seminal German photographer of the 20th century, this is the one.